Just before I got off the plane, a bomb went off in New York, and nobody knows exactly what's going on. But, boy, we are living in a time. We better get very tough, folks. We better get very, very tough.
That was Trump last night, right after the blast, and the media quick to judge him for using the term bombing to describe what happened in New York. But nobody complained when Hillary used the exact same term. Well, here to react, host of Media Buzz, Howie Kurtz. Howie, always good to see you.
Hello there.
How you doing, my friend?
Great.
So what is your response to very different reactions as we've continued to see when anything happens from Donald Trump, usually coming out first, and then Hillary Clinton?
Well, Trump is a gut player who calls an apparent bombing a bombing. And Hillary Clinton is a cautious and conventional politician who waits for the authorities to make the determination, which is how most politicians operate. And so the media kind of offended, I think, at least some, by Trump's sort of breach of protocol, because he reacted by saying what was pretty obvious, that it was a bomb, before waiting for, the police commissioner to hold a press conference. They are just not accustomed to the way in which he operates sort of outside the normal rules.
Okay, so he's Dr. Strangelove for saying this, and yet I don't remember anybody in the press going after Democratic politicians for jumping to unfounded conclusions in the wake of a bunch of police shootings we've seen over the past couple of years. They immediately draw massive conclusions about American society, and that's cool, on the basis of no knowledge.
Right, and there should be one standard, Tucker. There should be one standard that says that nobody should jump to conclusions about the motivations for a shooting, who's at fault. I mean, we saw this most dramatically in the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson. And there is the media have to be really careful here, because especially now, there is so much obvious disdain for Donald Trump that whenever he says anything, doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. Now, of course, the risk for Trump in doing this is 1 out of 20 times it might be a Con Ed gas explosion and not a bomb.
Right.
And then you get embarrassed, but he's willing to take that risk.
Howie, there's a broader context here that you know better than anyone, because you did a column on FoxNews.com a couple of days ago about how, like these attacks that are happening now, there's been one attack on Donald Trump after another. He's been called a racist, a sexist, and the conclusion of your column was basically like, are the Democrats petrified right now that they've thrown the kitchen sink at this man, and it's still either a tie race or, in some polls, he has a lead?
Right. This was the risk of Hillary Clinton's campaign. She decided she was going to base much of her pitch on demonizing Donald Trump. Pretty standard thing in politics if you're not too popular, but the other guy is not too popular. So when you've called him dangerous, unfit for the presidency, ignorant on foreign policy, shady businessman and all of that, and now it's September and the polls have tightened, at least nationally, almost to the point of a tie, what else does she have to throw at him? I mean, I said in this column that what Hillary has to do is to make more of an appeal for herself, to find a way to appeal to those white working class voters who are tempted by the Trump brand, because there just aren't many nuclear bombs left in her arsenal.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you had videotape of Trump having breakfast with Satan at the Four Seasons, do you think it would move a single vote at this point?
Wait, Four Seasons?
Why would Satan
be at the Four Seasons?
Fashionable New York
That's
watering
not even
hole.
credible.
Like, what could people learn about Trump at this point that would change their minds?
Or that would scare them?
This is actually the sort of media fallacy here, because there is this, you see this particularly with some of the liberal columnists. If only we investigate him more, if only we criticize him more, if only we show people who this guy really is, then America will turn against him. Well, I mean, we know an awful lot about Donald Trump. He's been in a searing spotlight. He's been the recipient of lots and lots of negative coverage, some of it inspired by his own words. He didn't handle the birther controversy well. But so with all of that, there is this sense that, why doesn't America understand? Well, I think America is making a choice. Some like Hillary, some like Trump, but it's going to be hard to demonize him any further with all the stuff that's been thrown at him.
Because maybe it's not about him. Maybe it's about some of his policies that people like. That's just a guess.
Yeah.
Howie Kurtz breaking it down. He'll be here live right here on Fox News Channel, 11 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss it.
We'll be watching. Thank you, Howie. Always good to see you.
Thanks, guys.